A poll from the rest of the audience. How many of you guys here know what negging is? Couple loose for negging. For anyone that does not know, negging is a technique used by modern day pickup artists to get women to sleep with them. And the way they do it is they give a woman a backhanded compliment. Something like, oh, you're wearing that outfit very nicely for someone your size. The idea is that the woman will be more likely to sleep with the man after he has put her down. Okay? So now that we're all on the same page, let me tell you a story. The other day I was walking home from the bar at 3 a.m. eating sad pizza, as you do, when a gentleman who had been walking behind me for a couple blocks stopped me, and he said, "Excuse me, miss, you are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Can we please go out on a date sometime?" And I, who had just been rejected for sex, was like, "Fuck yes we can, beautiful stranger. When and where?" Now, tickle me surprised when my enthusiastic response was met by his confused reaction when he said, "Holy shit, your voice is deep. Have you ever been a man before?" And I was like, "No," and then we went for brunch the next day. So I'm sorry, ladies, I'm the reason that negging is a thing. Update to that story. That story happened in January, and this past week I was asked by not one, but 2 men from OkCupid and Tinder if I had been a man before this. And I'd like to think that it's not because I look like a man or sound like a man. I'd like to think it's because the Bruce Jenner interview is doing its job. Right? Give it up for Bruce, guys. Great guy. Inspirational guy. I'm from Flushing, Queens, like the nanny. Born and bred in New York City. And whenever people find out that I'm from New York, they always want to know what it was like growing up here. They're like, "Oh my god, what was it like growing up in the Big Apple? Like, what was it like growing up in the city?" And I'm like, "I don't know, what was it like growing up with a yard? What was it like growing up with a designated patch of grass that you and your friends could gallivant on without hearing the neighbor beat the shit out of his wife?" You didn't laugh at that last joke? I'm sorry if my childhood bums you out. Another cool thing about growing up in New York, though, is that I'm used to being in closed spaces. I'm used to, like, being in tiny apartments and shit. To give you an idea, my high school boyfriend lived in an apartment, a 3-bedroom apartment in Greenpoint with his mother, father, brother, sister, cousins, aunt, uncle, and grandparents. So what that means, guys, is I lost my virginity in McCarran Park. If you ever see a rogue condom on the streets of New York City, that's not from a sex worker. That's from a high schooler that still lives with his immigrant family. All right? Speaking of sex, guys, I shared my bed with the same gentleman 2 nights in a row last weekend, filling my intimacy quota for the rest of the fiscal year. Funny enough, he was my accountant who has a man bun. And I was like, I don't quite understand how this works. Am I going to get my tax return in chia seeds or hemp oil? Which one? Low chuckle for a man bun. There's my notebook. I was talking with my parents the other day. My parents have been together for 27 years. They're very happy together. It's really sweet. I found out that the secret that my parents have to keep their relationship up and, going is that they sext each other during the day. So I found out that my parents sext each other during the day, and I also found out that they don't know how group text messages work. So that was a fun discovery that my sister and I made together. Like, I didn't think we could get any closer than we already are, but after sharing that trauma, we really get along now. I was talking to my mom earlier today because I gained some weight in the last 2 years or so. I put on about 30 pounds, and I'm feeling a little self-conscious about it. So I told my mom, I'm not really feeling good about my body, like, what's going on? And she's like, no, don't you say that. Don't you say that. You're sturdy. You're nice and sturdy. I'm like, nice and sturdy, like the fucking IKEA bookcase that I built last month? That's like anchored to the wall, that kind of sturdy? Horrible adjective, Mom. You're the worst.